we naturally become attracted to that. Something that, where let's say a lot of money is involved, naturally we become attracted to that. Let's say a lot of fame is involved, person can get naturally attracted to that. Or let's say someone has the strength, be it in terms of political power or muscle power, etc., etc. There also there is attraction. Okay? Same way, this what is this renunciation has to be understood in proper terms, proper understanding for that matter. Generally, when you say the renounced order or renunciation, people think that okay, these are those people who don't have anything. Okay? Who don't have anything, like no, like I don't have anything here. So people think that these are the renounced people. Okay? Yeah, in one sense, it is true. That is the first meaning, but there is more to it. Okay? Renunciation or being renounced in the sense that person has everything, but he is not disturbed by he having all of that. And at the same time, he still remains very grounded. And at the same time, he still remains very grounded for that matter. Okay. Just like one devotee told Prabhupada, because Prabhupada is a devotee of Krishna, so he also gets qualities of Krishna. So Prabhupada said, he told Prabhupada, one day, we'll conquer the whole world, we'll make the whole world Krishna conscious, and after that, we'll make you the king of the world. And everybody was wondering what Prabhupada will say. Then Prabhupada said, no, Krishna has given me this service of being a beggar and asking everyone to chant and give this Krishna consciousness. So I'll not become the king of the world, but I'll become the guru to the king of the world. That will be my proper position. That will be my proper position. Same way, once Prabhupada was entering a temple hall, one devotee made an announcement. Srila Prabhupada is coming. Okay, so all devotees are requested to move on the left side. So all devotees were there and everybody started to move one after the other. Then Prabhupada also went along with them. He also stood over there. Then this devotee, he told Prabhupada, no, the announcement was for devotees. It was not for you. Then Prabhupada, he asked, am I not a devotee? He asked. So this is called renunciation. Prabhupada had everything. He was the guru of everybody for that matter. He had all, he was elderly. He had post-position power in the society, everything for that matter. But he never considered himself to be that. He just considered himself to be a servant to devotees and servant to the Lord. That was his identity. Okay? So this is the proper or the holistic understanding of renunciation. If you see the world, people when they get opulences, they go crazy with that. Okay? They just can't remain grounded because of that. I hope you understand what you mean by grounded. Grounded in the sense humble. Okay? If you look at, there was an Hollywood actress. She became very famous because of her beautiful bodily features and all of that. Her films became very, very famous. Okay? One point of time, it so happened that she encountered one white hair. Okay? She just saw that white hair in the mirror. And as soon as she saw that, she was so disturbed by that, she committed suicide only. Okay? She committed suicide only altogether. Same way, I don't know whether you know this person by name President Nixon. So he was the president of the United States of America, very huge position. One point of time he was found to cheat during elections. That time he was asked, how can you put spies in the opposite party's campaign and get the sensitive information for the election and all. This was after the election. He said, I'm the American president. I can get to know anything else. And when the president when the public heard this, they were wild on him and he was pulled down from power. So he was like practically having everything, post position, power, money, anything at his beck and call. Okay? But he says, as soon as from that position he was pulled down and he was no more the president anymore. Okay? From that day till the day he died, he was not at all able to sleep peacefully also. He was not at all able to even sleep for that matter. That became his position. Okay? And I don't know how many of you know this person, Tiger Woods. He was a golf player. Yeah. And if you look at the history, you can look at Wikipedia. There are the list of people who are actually, who actually endorse different brands like Adidas, Nike, Puma, and all of that. Okay? And the kind of endorsement he did for the companies and the money that he got from these kind of endorsements, that is highest in the history. Highest in the history. Okay? Although he has everything, now he has money, he has fame, he has reputation, everything for that matter. Okay? One point of time, he was found to be involved in many sex scandals. Okay? And within one night or so, he lost all of these. Okay? He lost all of this in one shot. He lost all of this in one shot, for that matter. Okay. Then he was going to some kind of depression kind of a clinic, or what do you say, health improvement clinic and all of that. So that became his position. But if you look at the Supreme Lord, his position is completely opposite. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appreciated this in one pastime that took place. So I'll narrate that pastime. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes from West Bengal to Jagannath Puri. And from Jagannath Puri, he travels to South India. In South India, he reaches to the tip of South India. Again, he goes to Udupi, then goes to Maharashtra, then travels straight and goes to Vrindavan. Okay. This is his tour that he takes. When you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, there you'll happen to see that. Okay. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a simple way of giving love of Godhead. No? There was no question of Zoom classes, all these PowerPoint devices, no slide shows, nothing as such. Anybody knows how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave love of Godhead?
Sankirtan, Prabhu.
Okay, Sankirtan. Yes, somebody else? Quickly. I'll take one or two more. Yes, Sidhu Prabhu. You're not audible. Okay. Nobody speaking or? Okay. I'll tell the answer. It was not only Sankirtan. So what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's formula was Hare Krishna Mahamantra by his association. Okay. So what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's formula was very simple. As he went across South India, whomever he used to meet, he used to greet them very warmly and then he used to embrace them. As soon as he used to embrace them, they used to get love of Godhead and start jumping in ecstasy over there. So there was no, formal presentation, classes taken and all. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a very simple and very loving formula. That is how he bestowed the highest of the blessings on everybody. That is why he's called as a Namo Mahavadanyaya. Okay. So magnanimity, ocean of mercy for that matter. We just came to distribute this ocean of mercy to everybody. Okay. That is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu function. One pastime happens as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to South India. He comes to Tirupati, then he goes down and many other places, Simachalam, Ahobilam, everywhere. Then finally, when he reaches to Srirangam, there he stays in Srirangam during the Chaturmas period. He stays there 4 months and he does Rath Yatra festival. The Jagannath which was there doing that Rath Yatra. And today when we go to Srirangam, you'll be able to see that. Small Jagannath Diti is very, very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Okay. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happens to come over there. There when he is staying, and he's interacting with many people in the whole this town of Srirangam. One point of time, he goes and meets one Brahmana. So this Brahmana was a very, very different personality. All of the others, they used to kind of push him aside because he never knew how to pronounce the mantras properly. He was doing it very improperly, and he was not able to read very fluently the whole of Bhagavad Gita. Okay? So he was thought to be like a person who is he doesn't know how to do things. He was rejected of the normal crowd over there. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went and saw him. Then he was somehow trying to recite verses of Bhagavad Gita. Dharma kshetre, kuku kushu rute te, samavetayu tsa va mamaka, panda chaiva. Like that. Something or the other he was chanting over there. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was seeing. He was very surprised. Then he went and asked him that, why is it that you're not able to recite verses also? And so many people are just rejecting you, but why are you still doing that? Why are you still doing that? Then this Brahmana happens to tell Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually, my Guru has asked me to recite Bhagavad Gita on a daily basis. That is why, following the order of my Guru, I'm doing this. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, okay, you're reciting the verses and all, improperly you're reciting verses and all, but why is it you just keep crying? What is it that you are seeing in Bhagavad Gita that is that is making you feel so much of love in your heart towards Krishna, for that matter? Then he indicates this particular verse. Comes in the first chapter, where Krishna is described. Comes in Bhagavatam also, it comes in Bhagavad Gita also. So wherever Krishna is there, he always likes to introduce himself as a servant to his devotees. He likes to introduce himself as a servant to his devotees. Here also in the Bhagavad Gita, when he introduces himself, he starts introducing himself as a chariot driver. Introducing himself as a chariot driver. Okay. And this Brahmana, when he saw this particular verse describing this context, where the Supreme Lord as such has become the chariot driver of Arjuna, and Arjuna is driving the chariot, and in the middle of the battlefield, they are traveling. So he was so much overwhelmed with love that he couldn't control his tears only. He was crying and crying and crying and crying. Okay? Now someone might be wondering, okay, one person was there, he became chariot driver. Oh no, the chariot is going ahead. I don't know how many of you gone by tongue and all. Okay. See, try to understand when the war situation is going on, okay, conch shells are being blown, elephants are making sound, and the tuck, 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 the horses are running, and all these sounds are there. Okay. In such a, intense situation, like you can't tap the person. Arey bhaiya, thoda daine le lo. Arey bhaiya, thoda baaye le lo. Please take a left, please take a right turn. No, there is no scope for this only. Okay. Only way the chariot driver is indicated by in such a situation, in the war situation, is he is kicked by the warrior behind him. He's either kicked on the right side to move right, or either he's kicked on the left side to move left as such. So, as I was telling, I gave example of Hollywood actress, I gave example of Tiger Woods and all. So these people, they get maybe one opulence and pity puny of that opulence. Okay. And then they become so filled with pride that they end up committing sinful activities and all of that. Okay? But Krishna, as such, he has all other 5 opulences in full. Okay. What to speak of having money, he is called Lakshmipati. Okay. He's called Lakshmipati for that matter. One more devotee will describe his position as Lakshmipati, but that is his position as Lakshmipati. Okay. What to describe his beauty, he is called Madan Mohan. Okay. Madan is a person who brings about the attraction between man and woman. But this Madan, he brought his arrows to shoot at the Lord. Okay. He didn't see the Lord also face to face. He saw him from behind. As he was seeing him, then Krishna just gave it's called as a Tirchi Nazar. Okay. Slide long glance as such. Okay. Generally, women, they give this kind of look. That is called as like that. Okay. So Krishna just little bit he turned. Okay. And Madan, when he saw that face, he fainted looking at Krishna's beauty. Okay. So much was Krishna's beauty as such. Much, much more is there to describe. Okay. So he has all of this put together, but still, given a chance as such, he just wants to get introduced as servant to his devotees. Nothing else. Nothing else for that matter. When Krishna as such is called as Yashodanandan, when he's called as Nandanandan, when he's called as Gopijana Vallabha, he feels extremely happy because of that. He feels extremely happy because of that. Okay? He loves to get introduced as a servant to his devotees. As a servant to his devotees, taking all these kind of menial roles just to serve his devotees. This is the opulence of renunciation. Although the Supreme Lord has everything, still he remains grounded in his position as a servant to his devotees. No? That is the glory of this opulence as such. And only Krishna as such can have this. Only Krishna as such can have this, or his devotees for that matter, who purely connect with the Lord, they can actually have it. They can actually have it. Okay. So my time is up. There were Ronak Bro.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Keshav. It was very enlightening to hear from you about the quality of renunciation. So, any quick question for Prabhuji before we move on to the next quality of Lord Krishna? Okay. If you have a question, you can raise your hand. Okay. Thank you very much, Keshav Kripasundar Prabhu. So, we'll move on to our next speaker, who is Anjane Prabhu. So,
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
So very nicely Keshav explained.
Just 1 second, Anjane Prabhu. I'll just spotlight and just introduce you to our. So many of you might be knowing Anjane Prabhu. So Anjane Prabhu is a very sincere, very kind-hearted, very loving devotee, and he is currently he's taking care of the electronic city project. Like he is helping Vijay Prabhu to bring many great souls to the electronic city center and help them cultivate Krishna consciousness. So he has been my very close friend for many years, and he is very well learned in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and we'll be very fortunate to hear from him about quality of Lord Krishna, about fame of Lord Krishna, isn't it? How the Supreme Lord is famous. He is so famous that even the blasphemous, they are also thinking about him constantly, how to criticize him and how to disprove him. So that is the fame of Lord. So Anjane Prabhu will enlighten us. Yes, Anjane Prabhu can continue.
Thank you for giving the opportunity. Okay. So yeah, first of all, Keshav said renunciation of the law. You will hear, wealth of the Lord, and powerful, how much Lord's power. Actually, if you see all these, it's doing the same thing, the how the Lord is. Okay. So we might see some people famous here, there, but if you see like Shah Rukh Khan or Salman Khan or like they must, and people who are becoming famous. Okay. Well, they just remain famous for 20, 30 years, and once they are, form, nobody has space for them. So people, they might have not, but people are just looking for their own sense gratification. But if you see Lord Shri Krishna, what is the difference? Lord is eternally famous. He's constantly glorified, in all of the planets. Okay. And so therefore, one of the names of the Lord is, Uttama Shloka. He's always glorified by. Okay. So there, Ananta Shesh, this serpent of the Lord. So
You can come in my screen, bro.
yeah. Okay. Ranakru, I think sound is better now. Or
Sound is better for
okay, okay, nice. So yes. So what I was saying, just from Vishnu Pran, Chesh is a massive serpent, who's lying on the Shwet Sagar, So there he is always glorifying the Lord with his thousands of hoods. Okay. And it is said that he's glorifying the Lord from the eternal time, but still he is not able to finish the glories of the Lord. Okay. So that is the glories of the Lord, And in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Lord himself says, okay, that for you it might be possible to calculate the number of atoms in the universe. Okay, but estimate my glories, it's not that easy. Okay. So that degree, that is the comparison given. Okay. So we should understand, the Supreme Lord Krishna is not some normal person who's just playing with his friends, in some garden of Vrindavan or something. Okay. So he's actually the most famous person. When he was in Vrindavan, even Brahmaji, who's the creator of the whole universe, he wanted to meet him. Okay. So how many times, Prime Minister has come to meet us, of this small nation of India. Okay. But if you see, Brahmaji, and it is one of the pastimes that where it's mentioned how he comes to meet Krishna, Dwarka. So Krishna says, so his servants goes and tell Krishna, that someone Brahmaji has come to ask which Brahma you are talking about. There are many Brahmas. Okay. So Brahmaji is get bewildered, is there any other Brahma except from me? So then Brahma gets to know there are actually infinite Brahmas. And that he is actually a very small creature in front. But Lord, he just he just calls by the, he just call them in the comes and start glorifying the Lord. Okay, so this is the glories of that's how he's so famous. Okay, so now one may say that, okay, you are saying that God is all everything, but when I go to my company, I go to my college, nobody has such talk about him. Okay, people are talking about X, Y man, Z man, this, that man, but nobody's talking about Krishna. Okay, but how you he's all famous. Okay, so this we have to intelligently understand. So there's a small fraction of people staying on this planet. Okay. So not just this is the only planet. Okay. There are so many planets, and this is just a small material world. Okay. And except from that, there is actually population is in the spiritual world. Okay. So their spiritual world, we can clearly see, there are devotees are always, constantly glorifying the Lord. Okay, so and even in this universe, if you see the higher planets, we can see in Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas also. Okay, so there are devotees, yogis, Yam Brahma, Varunendra, Srimati Gayanti, that shlokas. So there are higher planets, yogis, rishis, constantly on the Lord. So he's not a normal person who is only few people know him in temple or something. Okay. So, but the thing is, this material world, and this is the place. So now every 5 years, there's a prime minister or president. So one might not know who is my current prime minister. So that is how we some people in this world might not know what who is how Krishna is what the opulence of Krishna. Okay, but that doesn't reduce the fame of Krishna. Okay, he was always famous, he was famous, and he will always remain all famous. Okay, so that is his position. Okay, so now one more thing, last thing I would say. Krishna is not just Krishna is famous and tears for devotee, but we see Krishna, he makes his devotees also famous as him. Okay, there are so many examples. Okay, just like so Krishna tells Arjuna that you fight, I will just take your chariot driver. Okay, this makes Arjuna famous, isn't it? So Krishna has so much fame, his devotees by default, just devotees, they also become famous. Okay, there are very many examples. One of the example is of Puri. He was in the okay one year, okay Ram ke liye. So he so they kheer for him, and Lord is stealing something, and so generally someone steals something, right? He come catch him, okay. But when Lord steals, he was more famous. He's so good, okay. And when people got to know that this is the devotee for whom, Lord, he became so famous overnight. All people knew this. Okay? And by the morning, all people were knowing. By the night, left the place going toward Puri. Okay? But when he reached Puri, people already knew this news. This news already spread. So this is the fame of the Lord, that even pure devotees, although they don't want to be famous, so much fame. Okay. So this good, for fame, they do not get fame in this world. Okay. But pure devotees, although they never look for any kind of fame, still they get fame. Okay, just like Srila Prabhupada, okay. But the quality of pure devotees always, remains same, neither of the fame. Okay. So one more thing I will say, what is the this fame actually, it can handle only by the Lord. It is pure devotees. Interesting people, they cannot handle it. Okay. Just like if you say there are many famous, so there are many, famous people, celebrities. They, they do lot of hard work and everything. Lakhs of crores of fans and everything. But you see, even with so much fame and everything, still they, frustrated. And their fans and everything, they come and they want to meet them and everything, but cannot meet with so many people. But see, Supreme Lord, he has infinite number of devotees. He's able to have personal time with. Okay. So this fame, actually many people after becoming so famous, they realize that actually I was not looking for this. Okay. Actually, I am not able to normal life of this. Is like one of the world most famous person in the 1970s.
Your voice is
So
breaking, Prabhuji. It's very much breaking.
is it uh, I'm connected to breaking?
We're not able to understand, Prabhu. It's a lot of breaking.
Yeah, is it better now?
Yeah, for now, yeah.
Better now, yeah.
Yeah, what I was saying. So George Harrison, went back to nearby restaurant to eat a sandwich. Okay. So as soon as he took the sandwich, little bit, sandwich from the table. and he sells a sandwich in public for thousands of dollars. He can by George Harrison, and he sold it in thousands of hundreds again. But a person might become famous, but actually other people, no one loves medical. They just want to make money out of them.
Roji, again it's breaking.
Okay.
Prabhuji, maybe some problem with your system. If you can join some other system.
Yes, bro. I think you can fix your internet. Maybe at the end we can have it once more.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
No issues, bro. We can again come back. So till that time, we have to fix his internet. We'll go to our next speaker. The next speaker is Vijay Prabhu.
Haribo.
So I didn't turn on my video. So Vijay Prabhu has all of us, most of us, like I don't think anybody is there who don't know Vijay Prabhu. So Vijay Prabhu is inspiration for many youths, and he has been counseling, guiding, and bringing many souls at the feet of Lord Krishna for many years. So as such, there is no introduction from Vijay Prabhu, but still I can tell that he is a very respected senior for many of us here. And if you have heard his classes, they're filled with lot of enthusiasm and filled with conviction, and that he displays by his dedication to serve his seniors, superiors, as well as preaching master, as well as Lord Krishna. And Vijay Prabhu is known amongst all of us for his power-packed enthusiasm in Sankirtan, in book distribution, as well as in the preaching mission of the Lord. So without any delay, I would like to ask Vijay Prabhu to please enlighten us on the topic of strength of Lord Krishna, isn't it? So all of us are very eager to hear that how Lord Krishna is so strong. What is his secret? That at the age of 7 years only he could lift Govardhan, isn't it? And is there anybody who can defeat Krishna, isn't it? So you can ask all these questions to Vijay Prabhu. And one request is that if you have any questions, because of concerns of time, we will not take it now. You can put it in chat, and at the end of the session, so we can personally answer it to you. Okay, so over to you, Vijay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak in front of all the devotees. I hope my voice is very clear to all of you, Prabhus.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes,
Prabhu.
Only thing is, I'm able to hear only your voices, but not able to see your faces. So if in case possible, devotees can on your videos, it will be very nice. Just to to see the devotees of all Bangalore coming together. So it will be nice if all devotees can open up your videos. Just I would like to see who all have come here. Jai, nice to see all of you. So thank you, Rona Prabhu, for giving me this topic on strength. I don't know. First of all, I think I'm not the right person to speak on this aspect because comparatively among all of you who are sitting here, in physical wise, I think I have less strength. I don't think so that I'm the right or apt person to speak on this, but still I'll try to make some justice for the topic that is being given through the words. So I was going through in the first phase of Electronic City, phase 1 of Electronic City. I was amazed to see every building on the terrace. There are some, what you can call as shops, and all of them have transparent glasses. And there are people walking at the same place. Can you guess what do we call them as?
Gym.
Yes, we call them as gym. And what are they doing there, standing there? I mean, walking at the same place. What do you call that as? Treadmill. We call it as treadmill. So line every building on the terrace, there are 10 treadmills kept through the transparent glasses, and people are standing full jam pack. No treadmill is empty there, and they're all walking with only one understanding that they want to gain strength in their life physically. So we can see in this world that everyone has the desire to have a strong and well-built body. But the time proves that as the time proceeds, the muscles which are there, the biceps which have grown, over a period of time, what happens? It completely merges back into the bone. Correct? Correct? How many of you have lifted at least once in your life dumbbells? Please raise your hand. Please raise your hand electronically, whatever. At least once you have lifted dumbbells in your hand. Oh, only few. Not many, huh? Not many. I think all of you are very, very, Sattvic, Brahmanic. I think you have not done anything like this kind, I think so. I remember when I was, studying in school, my father, he was a bodybuilder actually. He was called as Pailwan in his village. And even now also when people see me standing beside my father, they tell, hey, is your brother? Is your elder brother? So it's contradictory between me. I think my father would be a good person to speak on this topic, I think. So you should take me for the ground, every morning you should take. I used to get frustrated, to go and, catch that rod, and hang on onto the rod for, two. And sometimes he used to ask me to push up, do. And after doing 1, 2, 3, 4th push up, like, you catch and you come and just come down. And 5th push up, you go up, and you come down. Well, it's so tough just for the 5th and 6th push to go up and come down, right? Right? It's not so easy. So that shows that we really lack strength in ourselves. Not only that, sometimes this strength aspect is utilized by the media. And like sometimes, you might have seen in some movies, hero comes and the whole fight happens, the opposite party is about to come, the hero does not find any object to fight and he's there lying down there on the ground, and suddenly what happens? He sees that there is a bulldozer standing. He sees bulldozer standing and he goes, separates that front portion, that digger which is there in the front portion. He separates that with his one single hand. Is it realistically possible to separate that digger which is there in the front, to separate it with, and he does it with one hand, and with that one instrument he fights all the opposite party and beats them. And people are sometimes so much attracted by this, and sometimes we see that thousands of people attack one person, and this one person tells, they release the dialogues also sometimes, to tell that you don't send one person to fight against me, rather you spy all the 100 people who are the top of your army to fight against me, and I am going to fight against them. And people, when they look, they're completely absorbed how much strength is showing it. So nice to hear all this, but we have another great hero who is sitting there. So I'll just show a small PPT, bros. Small presentation. We find in this material world, people exhibit this kind of opulence. But actually, you see, when we look at like this kind of people, who are having well-built body, and many times in the hostels, you find, people put like this kind of posters, and every day they offer agarbatti, flower, and they beat coconuts also sometimes. And if they win the match and all, they burn the cactus, whatever it is. But it has been found most of the times these bodybuilders have died because of, anybody knows, because of what? Many of the times these bodybuilders die.
They use steroids.
Yeah, steroids. Then
Heart attack.
Heart attack, cardiac arrest. You see this person here? The same person is lying on the bed. This was the last video that was captured of this person called as Kedrick Macmillan of America. This is the last video that he spoke and telling that, my time has come. I have to leave now. So we find the strength that people exhibit in this world, it goes away over a period of time. It does not remain for a long, long time, right? Like say, for example, Muhammad, this person, he was the champion, gold champion, but at the end he got Parkinson's disease, where Muhammad Ali, where he could not lift even the torchlight of the Olympic Games, right? So in this world, the strength. But when we look at Lord Krishna's opulence of exhibiting the strength, my God, you'll be surprised to see that Lord Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill, which is 25 kilometers in perimeter. 25 kilometers. It takes 6 hours to go around the Govardhan. Can you think of lifting it? Can you think of lifting it? So Krishna did not lift this Govardhan to exhibit his strength for 5 seconds, like you might have seen, right? Sometimes you might have seen people, they lift the lbs or pounds, they lift and then they lift into the air, and as soon as some 3 seconds or 4 seconds later, they drop it off into the ground. How many of you seen this? Yes, you might have seen this, right? So though they may have well acquisite body, but their lifting of strength or the presentation of strength is only for 5 to 6 seconds. But our dear Lord Krishna lifted Govardhan, which is of thousands or say lakhs of kgs of weight for 7 days, 7 nights with his 2 hands. Is it so?
No.
Hare. You're able to hear me, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Everybody hear me? Yeah, sorry. So did Lord Krishna lifted the Govardhan with his 2 hands? Is it so?
No.
No, Prabhu.
So how did he do that?
Left hand middle finger.
One small little finger, index, pinky finger.
With his small finger.
Tiny
he lifted.
finger.
Yeah. Ravi Prabhu, can you just come to my room if possible? So that is how the Lord Krishna exhibits his strength, right? He does not have to, go through the strength. So he lifted Govardhan with his small little finger for 7 days, 7 nights to exhibit his strength. So similarly, we find not only that Krishna has exhibited many powers as such, right? So we see that if you see this past time, Krishna was just 30 days old. He killed the demon called Putana. By what? Just by sucking her nipple to drink the milk. And he drank her whole life, and she collapsed dead there. And it is said she was 16 miles long. 16 miles long. It is something like, from Kengeri railway station to Majestic, or from Electronic City to Majestic. That much long she was. But Krishna is just 30 days old. Can you just think of a boy who is just 30 days old can do this, right? So that is how the strength Lord Krishna exhibits. When Krishna was 3 months old, when he was 3 months old, he was crying under the cart. He was crying. And mistake, it appeared as if, Krishna even did not think to break the cart. But his tip of his nail from his finger touched the molecule, one molecule present in the cart. And what happened? All the vessels present on the cart, they just crashed on to the ground. And by seeing this, everyone wondered, how come a 3-year-old boy can do this, amazing, marvelous feature? Not only that, when Krishna was 1 year old, Trinavarth took him into the sky up above in the air. Not 10 floors, 20 floors. It's like, say, some kilometers up above the height. And Krishna was sitting there without any fearlessness. So Krishna actually wanted to go for a ride in the air. So he invited, I'm there here, please come, take me for a ride. So he went for that roller coaster ride in the air. So he went there, and after he became satisfied, what did he do? He became so heavy that the Trinavarta came down crashing to the ground. And not only that, when he was just less than 2 years old, he was tied to the grinding motor, right? And what happened when he was tied to the grinding motor? Krishna pulled the grinding motor to the 2 trees present there. And such big Yamalarjuna trees crashed down to the ground by the strength that Lord Krishna had when he was just 2 years old. And when he was 4 years old, a big bird came to kill him, called as Bakasur. Right? So Bakasur swallowed Krishna, but Krishna had so much of strength that he broke the beak of this Bakasura and died. And if you see, when he was just, maybe 6-7 years old, that one snake, anybody knows what is the name of this snake?
Kalia.
Who said that? Yes. What is the name of the snake? Kalia. Kalia, Kalinga Sarpa, right? How many hoods did this Kalinga Sarpa had? Anybody knows? Put in chat. Put in chat. How many hoods? I think if you count now, it will be confusing. You can put some number. Can you think of how many hoods this Kalia Sarpa had? Yes, some are telling 5, some are telling 1,000. What about others? No reply from others. Yes. 12. Good guess. 5. 14. Actually, he had this Kalia Sarpa had 100 big hoods and rest 900 small hoods. And see, dancing on the stage is one feat. Can you think of dancing on the hoods of a snake? And that too, it's not like say dancing on the stagnant snake hoods. No, all 100 hoods are present in line, and Krishna is dancing on them. It's not like that. All the hoods are moving up and down. They're trying to attack, but Krishna is dancing Bharatanatyam in such a way. He is pushing the hoods down, and he is dancing such nicely. And not only that, with the another hand, he is playing flute. So this shows the strength of Lord Krishna. So we can just think of that at such small age, if a boy can exhibit such amount of strength, it could be none other than the Supreme Lord. And that's why it is said in Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, text 11, Balam Balavatam Chaham. So all the strength that people exhibit in this world, to whatever action, lifting, putting down, whatever strength they have, is actually coming from Krishna. So if we get attracted to Lord Krishna by seeing his strength, we can, go back to Godhead. So that is how wonderful to know the strength of Lord Krishna, and then getting attracted to all those dummy people who lift the bulldozer, who lift, sometimes they break the stones, sometimes they take one small, stone and kill hundreds of people. All this, is actually illusion. It does not happen in realistic world as such. But Krishna, in realistic life, in Vrindavan, he did all these things. That's why even if you go to Govardhan now, right, it takes 6 hours to go around to Govardhan itself. So how did Lord Krishna lift at just the small age? So once what happened, one of the painters, right, she drew the photo of Lord Krishna lifting Govardhan. And it so happened that she had put biceps to Lord Krishna. Biceps? She had drawn in such a way that she had put biceps to Lord Krishna while lifting Govardhan. There were some, and face was like, it was something like that. Prabhupada said, Hare Krishna is not like this, lifting Govardhan. Actually, Krishna is laughing, and his hands are very, very tender. He is not feeling any stress. Krishna is actually just feeling like an elephant picking mushroom. Mushroom? And when a person picks mushroom, is there any weight on his body? Nothing. It's nothing really. Correct? So Krishna, when he's lifting Govardhan, he's feeling like that. So where is the question of feeling? So that too much strength Krishna has. So this is such wonderful, one of the very, very wonderful opulence of Lord Krishna that we all see. Actually, if you see all the movies, they're made on this theme of strength and beauty. So if we can get attracted to Krishna's strength, we can divert our mind to Krishna and go back to God. So I'd like to stop here. I took good amount of time. Thank you very much, Rose. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hey,
Hare Krishna.
so it is very enlightening to hear from Vijay Bro. So thank you very much, Vijay Bro. So now we'll move on to our next wonderful speaker. And so in this material world, there's hardly anyone whom we can see that who is at the same time very, very powerful, but also at the same time he is very, very knowledgeable also, isn't it? So there can be only one such person, that is Lord Krishna himself. So our next speaker will enlighten about the quality of knowledge. So I would like to invite Adipurush Pro. So he will come and enlighten us on the topic of knowledge of Lord Krishna. So many of you might have seen Adipurush Pro before, and he is taking care of Mysore SGC Center. So he's a very wonderful Vaishnava. So I know him for many, many years. So he's very sincere, dedicated, and at the same time he's also very knowledgeable in the Shastras, and he's very fond of quoting many shlokas, reading scriptures, and going deep into scriptures and sharing it with his juniors. So I asked one of his juniors, like, can you share me some good qualities of Adipurush Prabhu just now? He told her, Adipurush Prabhu is such a caring, sincere devotee, and he's so friendly that he can gel with anybody and anyone. And even I've seen him attending his company meeting and company calls. He's such nicely he talks with his colleagues that everybody will feel sheltered in his association. So I would like to invite Adipurushpu to please kindly enlighten us. Yes, Adipurushpu can continue.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for this opportunity, Prabhu. Am I audible to everyone? Is my voice clear?
Yes, bro, you're audible.
Okay. Thank you. So it is my pleasure and fortune to get this opportunity to speak about one of the very important opulences of Lord Krishna, that is knowledge. So when we say that Lord Krishna has 6 opulences in full and 64 qualities in full, that does not mean we are actually limiting the absolute truth. See, the absolute truth or the Supreme Personality of Godhead has unlimited qualities. But because our ability of the mind to comprehend things is limited, we need a framework to judge. And we consider this framework because Parashara Muni has given us these 6 qualities which are most attractive to the people of this world. And someone who possesses all of these 6 qualities to all time, then that person is called as Supreme Personality of Godhead. Correct? So this particular aspect of knowledge is very special, because starting from the very moment we wake up in the morning, every living entity for that matter, till the time we sleep, we are all inquiring. We inquire. As soon as we get up, we inquire. What messages did I get in my WhatsApp? Correct? We inquire. What time should I go to college? We inquire. What time is my meeting with the boss? We inquire. What is the food for today? So our inquiry innately tells us that we are looking for knowledge. And because we are looking for knowledge, we have a serious, a very affinity, strong attraction to people who are knowledgeable. Correct, right? We idolize or eulogize people like scientists, philosophers who explain the reality of the world in various ways. So knowledge is something that is very attractive for the living entities. And those people who possess knowledge are also very attractive. And the Sanskrit word that defines knowledge is Veda. So Veda. So there is a very beautiful pastime of Ajamila in which a few Yamudutas actually catch Ajamila and they encounter with the Vishnu Dutas. And in that argument, the Vishnu Dutas ask Yamudutas, can you define us what dharma is? You are speaking about dharma and all that, you are trying to arrest Ajamila. Can you tell us what dharma is? So Yamudutas say that Vedo pranahito dharma adharmas tad viparyaya. Means what the Vedas say is dharma and opposite to that is adharma. And they go on to say that Veda Narayanat Sakshat. Means Veda is Sakshat Narayan. See, we don't date that Vedas came 24,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 12,000 years ago. Why? Because Vedas are called as Apaurusheya, which means not a product of human origin. So the source of Veda is Krishna. So Lord Krishna tells this in Bhagavad Gita also. Vedesha sarver ahameva vedyo vedantakrit vedavit eva chaham. Means the purpose of studying all Vedas is to know me. I am the compiler of the Vedas and it is I who is the source of all Vedas. So Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is telling Arjuna that he is the source of all Vedic knowledge, all knowledge. And it is also true that Brahmaji, from his experience of creating this universe, tells Narad Muni in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Narad Muni asks Brahmaji, so my dear father, it appears that you are creating the whole universe consisting of the 14 planetary systems. You are giving the bodies for all the living entities. You are distributing them with so many varieties of enjoyment. Are you the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Then Brahmaji says, no. Brahmaji reveals the secret to Narad Muni that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And in the first shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedavyas also mentions this. He says, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaya Muhyanti Yat Suraya. The source of all knowledge within this universe, we know it as Brahmaji. Correct, right? But how did Brahmaji gain the knowledge? Brahmaji got this knowledge from whom? From the Supreme Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna revealed the knowledge of the Vedas in the heart of Brahma, who is the Adi Kavi. So the source of all knowledge is Krishna, and Krishna is the most knowledgeable person. See, these are two different things. For example, God is considered as the best of all beings. And he is not only the best of all beings, he is also the basis of all beings. So what does it mean? Let us take an example of a tennis player. Tennis player. He could win the Wimbledon championship, defeat 10,000 other tennis players, and he could be world number one, which means he is the best of all tennis players. But there is always a possibility that the rank 2 can defeat him and come back to rank 1. Correct? He can come down in his position. Correct? But in case of Krishna, he is not only the best of all beings, he is also the basis of all beings, which means the top one table tennis player is the source of the ability of playing table tennis in all the other tennis players. You understood? He is not only the best player, the ability of playing tennis which other players have is also coming from whom? Is also coming from the world number one. That kind of understanding is the understanding of God. That is, he is the most knowledgeable person, and he is the basis of all knowledge within the world, both material and spiritual. Both material and spiritual. And amazingly, people in this world, when they are knowledgeable, what do? They always come out to speak about the glories of the knowledge. They give seminars on that knowledge. They give PPT presentations. They write research papers. But none of this. Krishna employs his ability, his knowledge in the service of his devotees. See, this is another special quality. Any attribute that I have sometimes dominates over me. If I have a very good attribute of dancing, then the ability of dancing can take over me. That dancing defines who I am. I am defined as a very good dancer. Correct, right? So it limits me. But in case of Krishna, his attributes don't limit him. Rather, he is the source of his attributes, despite his attributes being unlimited. His attributes are unlimited, but they never overpower him. They are always subordinate to his service. And there is one such very beautiful example in Mahabharata of how Lord Krishna employs his amazing knowledge of the past, present, future, and of this whole world in the service of his devotees. So one such example is, it was during the 9th day of the war, Mahabharata war, and as we know, the commander-in-chief of the Kaurava army was Bhishma Dev, and he was giving his best, and honestly giving his best, fighting for the Kauravas. But Duryodhana was not pleased. He is a very bad master. So he, that evening of the 9th day, comes to Bhishma Dev and says, I am not satisfied with your warfare. It seems, despite you being so powerful, almost equal to or greater than 25,000 Arjunas, you could not kill Arjuna, and it is 9 days already. And all the Pandavas are left scot-free. What is this? If not for partiality, there cannot be any other reason. So he questioned Pitamaha. And it is a very serious thing for a person who's of 3rd generation, 4th generation like Duryodhana to ask someone like Grandsire Bhishma Dev. Right? So Bhishma Dev got angry. And he said, you doubt my integrity, right? So Bhishma Dev went into very serious meditation and told Duryodhana that I have now invested all my Shakti of Brahmacharya of the last 220 years in these 5 arrows. So with these 5 arrows, tomorrow, I will kill the 5 Pandavas. Bhishma Dev telling something like this is of very high magnitude. Duryodhana took time for that to sink in also. So when Duryodhana heard this, he was really joyful. And he told Bhishma Dev, he glorified Bhishma Dev and said, on a safer side, I will keep these 5 arrows with me. Look, who knows if someone in the night steals. So I will keep these 5 arrows with me. And during this conversation of Bhishma Dev and Duryodhana, there was no jasus, there was no spy, there was no someone trying to hear and all that. Nothing, absolutely nothing. The conversation was only between Bhishma Dev and Duryodhana. So Duryodhana took those 5 arrows, went inside his camp. Now the same time in Pandava's camp, Krishna tells, let's go for a walk. So he takes Arjuna and he tells Arjuna, do you know what? Bhishma Dev today has taken a oath that he is going to kill all you and your 4 brothers in tomorrow's war. And these 5 arrows are with Duryodhana. So you should go and get these arrows from Duryodhana, he tells Arjuna. So Arjuna goes to Duryodhana. So when Arjuna goes to Duryodhana, Duryodhana says, "Oh, my dear brother, have you come here begging for your kingdom? I will give you the whole kingdom." So Arjuna said, the time for giving the kingdom has already gone. Now we are in war. So I don't want the kingdom from you, but rather I want to remind you that you had given me a boon. When the Gandharvas had captured you in a war, it was I who protected you. And when I protected you and released you from their hostage, you actually promised to give me a boon. When I said that I will take it later, this I will take it later is very dangerous. In Ramayana also, Kaikeyi asked it later, correct, right? Went to a disaster. So Arjuna now tells Duryodhana that I want this boon from you. And Duryodhana asks what? Arjuna says, I don't want the kingdom, give me the 5 arrows. Duryodhana goes mad. It is complete secrecy between him and Bhishma Dev. Nobody else knows. Nobody else knows. Utter secrecy. And Arjuna is now asking for 5 arrows, in which Bhishma Dev has invested his entire life's brahmacharya for 220 years in that arrows. And Duryodhana blames his providence, fate, and curses himself for giving the boon. And now he gives those 5 arrows, almost crying like a baby in the camp. Correct, right? And now Arjuna is about to go back, and Duryodhana asks, Arjuna, just one last question. How do you know? Arjuna gives a smile and says, how do you think I know? Duryodhana gets his answer. Then Duryodhana really does not understand. Is really Krishna God? How can someone know this? So Krishna's omniscience or his complete knowledge, his opulence of knowledge is not used in his own service. Rather, it is used in the service of his devotees. And mind you, Krishna's opulence of knowledge is so glorious that when Krishna wants, he can put himself in a situation wherein he forgets his knowledge. Someone who is very knowledgeable cannot put himself in a compromising situation wherein he forgets his knowledge. If he has forgotten his knowledge, that is due to Krishna's influence. But Krishna is so amazing that for the sake of taste in the pastime, he forgets his supremacy of knowledge. Correct, right? So that only Krishna can do. And therefore, Krishna's opulence of knowledge is so glorious and amazing. And Krishna employs this multiple times in Mahabharata for proving his devotees' devotion to himself and for proving that his devotee is right. Another example I would like to give this and conclude. See, Krishna knew that the Mahabharata war is inevitable. So when we say that God knows our future, what does it mean? Don't we have free will? So God is all knowledgeable. So he should know future also. If he does not know future, then he is not all knowledgeable. If he knows future, then he is not all powerful. Because if he knows future, then he cannot change the future. It's a contradiction. Correct, right? But Krishna is not like that. Krishna knows our future just as we know our past. Let's say I'm going in the road in a 2-wheeler. I'm at a junction. And similarly, there is a helicopter that is having a bird's eye view of the road. So the person in the helicopter will know what choices I have in my life as I go ahead in the road. Correct? Where can I take a turn? Where can I not take a turn? What kind of a route can I choose? He knows, but I don't know. Because unless I come to that point of destination, I will never be able to take that decision. I will never even know where to go. Correct, right? But the person who is above in the helicopter, he has a bird's eye view of everything. But despite Krishna knowing everything, it is his benevolence that he has given us this independence to make choices in life. Although Krishna knows what is going to happen to us when we make these choices, Krishna has given us the freedom to decide what choices to make. So in that sense, Krishna knows the consequences of our choices, but Krishna willingly does not choose to know what choices we make. That he has given a free will to us. And that is his opulence of benevolence. Despite knowing everything in this world, Krishna is very merciful. So there's one last pastime I would like to tell and conclude. So Krishna knew that the Mahabharata war was inevitable because of the choices that Duryodhana has at his disposal and what kind of choices he had made in the past. But still, Krishna came as Shantiduta. See, to come as Shantiduta is not a very big thing. It's not a very prestigious position. In Ramayana, who comes as Shantiduta? Who comes as a messenger to Ravana? Anybody remembers? Yes, Angada. Angada comes as a messenger. Angada is not the most powerful warrior in the Lord Ram's army, or is not the most diplomatic leader. Correct, right? Angada is just another powerful soldier. Correct. Right? So Krishna chooses to become that position of a messenger for the pleasure of his devotees. And why? Despite knowing that the war is inevitable, he knows whether I go or I will not go. The war is inevitable because the choice that Duryodhana is going to make. But still, why does he go? We ask this question to Lord Krishna. In the same Sabha where Mother Draupadi was disrobed, my dear Lord, you are going there. And I am very, very sorry that I cannot expect what kind of situation you will be put in. What if you are put in humiliation tomorrow when you go to the Sabha? That Sabha has already lost his honor. Krishna said that I know I may be humiliated badly tomorrow. Duryodhana may even try to arrest me. But I am going there to prove to the world that my devotees have left no stone unturned to stop the war. And they are most righteously pursuing this cause of resolving the conflict. So I want to prove that my devotees have done everything possible to stop the war. And although I know that the war is inevitable, for their pleasure, to set a right example and to tell the world that they are not at fault, I am going as Shantiduta. So Krishna knows, he's fully cognizant. Swarat, Abhignya, he is fully cognizant about everything. But still he chooses to take that role for the pleasure of his devotees. Right? So this is opulence of Lord Krishna's knowledge. He is the most knowledgeable person, so much so that his 700 slokas of Bhagavad Gita are debated till today. There are more than 1,000 commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. It is a very, very widely published book, and even foreigners are aware of it. Correct, right? So when I was in my company, I was sharing my screen, and they just saw Krishna's wallpaper, the foreigner, and he saw Krishna's wallpaper and said, "Hey, I know this guy. He is the one who has spoken Bhagavad Gita, right? He's an American." So Krishna's opulence of knowledge is so glorious that it is very, very attractive. And the best aspect is he employs it in the service of his devotees. So with this, I would like to conclude and pass on the mic to the next speaker. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Radhe Purush Prabhu. So it was very wonderful hearing so many pastimes of the Lord and his intimate dealings with his devotees. With this, we'll move on to the next opulence of the Lord. So till now, we have been hearing so many nice, wonderful qualities of the Lord, isn't it? So I hope all of you recall and remember what all qualities we heard starting from beginning. So starting, we heard renunciation, then we went on to fame, then strength, then knowledge. And now the two vital qualities are still remaining, that is wealth and beauty. So I would like to take this opportunity to share with you something about the wealth of Lord Krishna, isn't it? So when it comes to wealth, so as many of you like who are especially working nowadays, when it comes to wealth, we are always thinking what is the net worth, what is the how much so person's wealth, how much wealth is possessed, how much wealth he possesses is measured by his net worth, isn't it? So now we'll talk very, very practical in terms of very practicality, isn't it? If you come and do an evaluation of the net worth of Lord Krishna, so how much worth it is. Okay, just to take an example of one of the richest temples in India, Lord Balaji, isn't it? So Tirupati Devasthanam. So I was just going through a document, and it had a very nice description about the net worth of Tirupati Balaji. So how is it? And just let me show you. Yeah, so it is told that the net worth of Lord Venkateshwara temple is around 2.3 lakh crore. So you can imagine. So nowadays people take a flat in a few crores. They built a temple in few hundred crores. And the net worth of Tirupati Balaji is 2.3 lakh crores. And it is in comparison to the net worth of some of our richest industrialists in the whole world, isn't it? Like Ambani or Adani. So he is on that level, competing with everyone. So who? Tirupati Balaji, Lord Venkateshwara. Okay, so along with that, so it is told, it is calculated that the temple has a possession of 10.3 tons of gold, along with rupees 5,300 crores that is invested in different assets, and around a property of rupees 16,000 crores that is invested in different banks. So this is the net worth and this is the evaluation of one such temple in India, and that is Tirupati Balaji, isn't it? And Tirupati Balaji is not just the only temple in India. There are so many temples. Ananta Padmanabh Swami, isn't it? Srirangam, and which are filled with so much valuable jewels, and it is net worth is of lakhs and lakhs of crores. So we cannot imagine, isn't it? What is the worth of how much wealthy the Supreme Lord is. So people nowadays, isn't it, especially even the so-called communists, they're engaged in worship of Mother Lakshmi day and night. They're praying Om Jai Jagadisha Hare Dhana Sampatti Ghar Ave, isn't it? We are engaged in praying to the Lord that please give us wealth, Shukha, Santi. But that same goddess of fortune, who is known as the goddess of fortune, Mother Lakshmi, she is known as Chanchala, that she never stays at one place more than a fixed amount of time. Isn't it? And people are hankering just to please Goddess Lakshmi, so that she bestows some fortune in her lives, and from this poor state will at least come to some status of wealth. So that same Goddess of fortune is there, continuously serving the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha, isn't it? So the Goddess of fortune, whom millions of people are hankering to satisfy her, that same Goddess of fortune, giving up all her wealth and fame, everything, she is there, just fixed at the lotus feet of the Lord Narayan and continuously serving him. So in the Brahma Samhita, as it is stated, many of you know that Lakshmi Shahasra Satasam Brahma Sevya Manam, that in the Vaikuntha planets there are innumerous Lakshmis, isn't it? So this is the description of the Vaikuntha Vasis, that they're because the women in the Vaikuntha planets, they are so beautiful, as equivalent to Mother Lakshmi. They are engaged in serving Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shriman Narayan. And what is the service? The service is grooming the marble tiles, isn't it, in Vaikuntha. So that is the service. Now you can imagine that Vaikuntha is a place that is free from all kind of kunta, isn't it? All kind of anxieties, all kind of miseries. And then we are telling of sweeping a floor, which is like some kind of a lowly activity, isn't it? So in a home we see that parents, they sweep the floor because sometimes it becomes so dirty we have to sweep it forcefully. But in the spiritual world, in Vaikuntha planet, where there is not a single speck of dust, how is it possible that all the men and women in the Vaikuntha planets, they are engaged in sweeping dust from the floor of Vaikuntha? So the reason that is stated is that because the Vaikuntha Vasis, they are so much deeply in love with the Supreme Lord, they are always seeking for service. And the best way to please the Supreme Lord is by rendering menial service. So all these Lakshmis, who are so much divine and they are so much capable of bestowing millions of wealth and fame, name, prestige to any person in this mortal world, living their Ashwarya, they are serving the Supreme Lord. So in one sense, we know that Lord, the Supreme Lord whom we worship, is none other than Lakshmi Pati. He is the Pati, he is the master of Lakshmi. So it is told that although Lakshmi is Chanchala, that she never stays in anybody's home for a fixed amount of time, but she is always resides in the heart of Lord Vishnu in the form of Shivatsa hair. So that is the position. Therefore, in one's whose heart Lord Mother Lakshmi is residing, so how can anybody possibly be wealthier than him? Isn't it? How can anybody possibly be more opulent than him? So the Supreme Lord is the most opulent. Even as we see in Srimad Bhagavatam also. How many wives did Supreme Lord had? Supreme Lord Krishna had how many wives did he have? Anybody knows?
16,108.
Yeah, Arun told nicely. 16,108, isn't it? So have you heard of any such news? Isn't it? Any person marrying more than 100 wives, isn't it? 100 wives we might have had somewhere. Osama bin Laden had 100 wives, but not more than that, isn't it? But Supreme Lord Krishna, he can say he has set a record 16,108 wives. And just imagine if a person has more than 2 3 wives, just to maintain one wife only, so much effort goes, so much wealth goes, so much money goes, that people go into depression and anxiety that when they marry and they have to maintain wife and children, isn't it? Now just imagine what is the condition of Supreme Lord Krishna, who is maintaining 16,000 wives, and each of their wives, that they are not just in rags or just in small cities or huts. Lord Krishna has maintained them by providing them a palace which is bedecked with jewels and gold and diamonds for each and individual wife. And Lord Krishna himself is personally present in the form that he has expanded himself into 16,000 forms just to stay and enjoy family life with this one of his queens, isn't it? So, to that extent, the Lord is opulent. To that extent, the Lord is the greatest and the wealthiest individual in the whole world, so to say, the universe. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvasya prabhu matna sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante ma buddha bhavam samanvita. There's nobody other than me that who is the possessor and the controller of everything in this world, both material and spiritual. Okay, so therefore the Lord is possessor of everything and everything belongs to him. Okay, so this way we can understand that whenever we see any rich person, any wealthy person, or even whenever we get the desire of possessing any wealth, we should understand that wealth is equivalent to Lakshmi, isn't it? Even in devotee terms also we say, you don't tell money, give me, pay me, send me the money to my account. We say Lakshmi, please can you give me all Lakshmi? We say like that. So therefore wealth is Lakshmi, and Lakshmi is the property of Vishnu. It's not our property. And even if we see any rich person or billionaire, millionaire, and we feel envious in the heart, we should immediately rectify ourselves that actually there is the mercy of the Lord. So Lakshmi Devi is by her grace that this person is now he has earned a little bit of wealth, and by the grace of Mother Lakshmi, but actually Lakshmi is the property of Narayan and should be engaged in his service. Okay, so with this I would invite our next speaker who would enlighten us about the final, like one of the last opulence, and that is the most cherished opulence of the Lord, isn't it? And anybody can guess what is the last opulence of the Lord that we are going to discuss now?
Beauty.
Beauty. So how many of you are attracted, charmed by the beauty of Lord Krishna? The Lord is so beautiful that even the goddess of lust, Kamadev or Cupid, he lost conscious of his bows and arrows. He couldn't understand that what happened just as soon as he saw the beauty of the Lord, isn't it? So the Lord is known as Madan Mohan, and we'll hear from our very dear Yogesh Bro that how much beautiful Lord is, isn't it? And with this, can we give up our enjoying mentality? Can we give up our attraction to the material beauty that we see in this world? Can the Lord's beauty overpower and conquer all other material beauty? Okay, so I would like to invite Yogesh Bro. So Yogesh Bro is one of my very dear friends, and he is passed out from IIT BHU, correct, bro? And he is Haitian, like one of the cherished positions that many of the students they are striving. So he is already from such a brilliant college, and now he is currently in Bangalore doing his job. And for many years he is there, and currently he is taking care of Sarjapur Center. So, like most of you, they might be knowing if you have companies near to Sarjapur, you know the place where you will get association of devotees is ISKCON Sarjapur Road, and the devotee who is very brilliantly managing and taking care of so many devotees is the Yogesh Pur. So he has very wonderful qualities like caring for devotees and making them feel comfortable and and encouraging them so much in Krishna consciousness. So I'll not make him feel uncomfortable, but I would like to request him so he can enlighten us about this wonderful quality of Lord.
Hare Krishna, am I audible clearly?
Yes, bro, you are audible.
Okay. Thank you, Ronak bro. to give this some opportunity actually to speak about Krishna. So it is actually for your benefit also and for my benefit also, because I'll also at least for 5-10 minutes whatever I speak, I'll be able to some relish some aspect of the law. So that way it is at least purification for me, if not for others. So that's a favorable situation for me. And, thank you for all of you, because already time has gone above the limits. So I'll not take much time. Just wanted to share some of the whatever pastimes or whatever beautiful aspects of the Lord which I could relate in recent past. So see, one of the things is about the beauty that when we see beauty in this world or any of the thing in this world is one thing is it is limited. The second thing is it is temporary. Even that applies to our all the opulences. In case you can see that knowledge also, sometimes people are knowledgeable so at the age of 30, 40, 50. After that जैसे बुढ़ापा आता है घर वाले उनको साइड में कर देते हैं अभी सी and now he is become old age ना so he is gone crack. They say like this sometimes. So many of the people they are knowledgeable, they are beautiful, they are the what we say, they have fame, but after some point of time that is gone and it is temporary also. And so like this Koji was giving example that one lady, she got white hair and because of that she died, committed suicide. So like that all the appearances have their limit. So once Prabhupada was going with his disciple, so you can think of you are going with Vijay Prabhu, you can assume, and sometime it may happen that okay, assume that you are going in company with Vijay Prabhu, and you happen to see a beautiful girl, and then you are just slowly slowing with your slight what you say, तिरछी आंखों से आप उनको देख रहे हो, है ना? Some it may happen, and then Vijay Prabhu sees you. Vijay Prabhu is seeing like you, and you are also seeing there, है ना? And then you see towards Vijay Prabhu, and Vijay Prabhu is seeing towards you, and then you are seeing Vijay Prabhu is seeing you, like that it may be happening. So that was happening with one of the properties. He was there on the road, and then one of the disciple, he was looking at some beautiful lady on the road, and Prabhupada happened to see him, and then when he saw Prabhupada is seeing him, he saw Prabhupada and Prabhupada is seeing him. So like that it happened, and he was completely embarrassed. You can think of so what his situation would be. And then he was not able to speak. Can anyone of you guess what Prabhupada said to him?
If the creation is such beautiful, then how the creator is beautiful?
Yeah, who was that? Okay, okay. Yes, so perfect clue, whoever devotee was. So this actually Prabhupada said. So Prabhupada understood that everyone has an inherent quality to be attracted by something beautiful. And that is not something wrong about the person, but it has to be redirected properly. See, we are soul and we are always attracted towards the most beautiful person. And wherever we see these qualities actually of the Lord, so we are attracted towards that. Similarly, when that Prabhupada saw that disciple, he said, if the Prakriti or the nature of the Lord is such beautiful, then how much the Lord will be beautiful, you can think of. So that's the beauty of the Lord, which you can think of when we see the material beauty in this world. Anytime we see any beauty in this world, we can easily think of Krishna. We can easily connect with Krishna. That is the beauty of Krishna. And when we say everyone is looking after Krishna, how we can understand that also? Because anywhere we see, we want to see something beautiful. So this quality is all coming from the, like Lord also says in Bhagavad Gita, that whatever the opulences you see in the world, that shloka comes, that how everything is opulent you see in this world is actually coming from me. So he is the origin of everything. And if you see a lot of pastimes also, like if you see the pastime, so when we heard about Mahabharata, right? So Mahabharata, many people say that why Krishna is such a great person, he has to kill so many soldiers in the war, so much war happened just because of this one person. He was such a diplomatic, because if he wanted, he could have stopped the war. he could have said to Arjuna, okay, take back step or something like that. But he's such a diplomatic person. Even Dhritarashtra was also thinking this way. Because of Krishna, all this happened actually. A lot of diplomacy and all those things. But if you see what happened with the soldiers when they were dying, anyone if you know what destination they attained when they were leaving their body?
Heaven. All goes to heaven.
All went to
Oh, heaven.
heaven.
Yeah.
No. That is intermediate. They might have gone and they might have gone above that also.
So repeat question.
Yeah. So they actually went to they attained liberation actually. So even it is said that when they were dying, they were seeing the beautiful face of the Lord. And that time they forgot also that they are fighting. Just by seeing the beauty of the Lord in the war, they were so much attracted towards the Lord. So whenever they were coming to shoot arrows at Arjuna, they were thinking, oh, such a beautiful person is sitting ahead. And they thought, okay, we'll see him only. And then that time Arjuna shot. Done. So like that, Krishna was even, and just by seeing their beauty, everyone was thinking, okay, this person is very beautiful. And because of that, some appreciation for the Lord, they actually attend liberation and even Vaikuntha planets also. So you can see, and Kalia also, when he was there in the water, so that time when Krishna jumped from the tree, that time also Kalia felt, even though he was so envious, snakes are not generally appreciative of anyone. But at that particular moment, he thought, such a beautiful boy it is actually. So after that, he started again fighting and all because of his envious nature. But still that time also, even though such an envious person also could appreciate Krishna's beauty. So once there was one foreigner who came to India and he was going to different temples altogether. And while he was going through all the temples, he saw different deities, demigods and all those things. And after roaming all around India, he went back and he was going on the way. So some reporter asked him, what do you think? Who is God? So that foreigner said, oh, this is very simple. Krishna is God. And how do you conclude this? So then he said, see, every person, every deity you see in the temples, every different demigods, like the deities which are their idols and all. So there is one common thing. Everyone is having either their arms are armed actually. They have weapons or some trishul or some different forms of weapons are there in their hands. Somewhere trishul, somewhere what do you say? That blades and all those things are there. But if you see Krishna, he is the only person who is holding a flute and he's just simply grazing with the cows. So if someone has nothing to do, that means he's the all controller. So basically, he said that even though he's the God, but he's relaxing actually, and he doesn't have any anxiety to take. So that's why he's God simply. So you can understand that how Krishna is all beautiful, and many of the shlokas actually in Bhagavatam, which are the epitome of ecstasy of the Shukadeva Goswami. So he describes the beauty of the Lord in so many ways. Every canto you will find so many shlokas filled in Bhagavatam, which are like Shukadeva Goswami is just going into samadhi on meditation on the Lord. Even many times when I personally visited ISKCON temple, how many of you have that experience? When you first come to ISKCON temple, the most attractive thing is deities. How many of you have that experience? Yeah. As soon as you enter, I remember that I visited first ISKCON temple was Kanpur and then it was Pune. It was so amazing, especially Pune deities are such huge in size and all. And they are such elaborately deity worship and everything happens, and Kanpur also. Such a great beauty it is to see. Just to see, you can I can see, it's like an experience of you can see them for hours and hours and hours. You can be just there. Once I went to one temple and GV temple, and it was like half an hour. I was just shooting photos, and that's why that was my job. In background, Mangalarti was going on, some Aarti was going on, and just shooting photos of the Lord. Such beautiful deities are there in them. So you can just think of. It is said when Dwarika Vasi, especially these ladies of Dwarika, they were seeing the Lord. So they used to regularly Nitya Nikshamanana Ye Abhi Dwarako Kokasham Like that it comes that they were constantly seeing, regularly seeing the Lord on the Lord's, like Lord used to come outside. But still they were never satiated. Na vitriptanti hi drisha. They were never satiated. Never satiated means what? Like we are also not satiated with our salary and all. But that is not like that. They are not being satiation is they are always finding new and newer beauties in the Lord. So when Lord comes out, they are just amazed by the beauty of the Lord, and they are always remembering when the Lord will come back. Even when he goes to Hastinapur, they are always in depression, thinking of the Lord. So much Lord's beauty is described in Bhagavatam, and you can see also that how much Prabhupada also, many of the places you will see that it is said many of the just seeing the toe of the Lord is such a beauty. If you are having that eyes of the love, so we'll come to that. If we have that eyes which are tinged with the love, ointment of love, if we have that eyes, then we can be ecstatic just by seeing the toes of the Lord also. So it is not with our mundane eyes we can conceive the Lord. Many of the times Lord gives us that much experience also, but it is not always. But see, now we have to develop our spiritual senses to be appreciative of the Lord's real beauty actually. So even the Duryodhan also saw Lord, but he was not able to see the real beauty of the Lord. Many of Shishupal also saw, even many of the demons also which used to come. So they also saw the Lord, but they were not able to appreciate the Lord's beauty. So real beauty we can actually appreciate when when we serve the Lord and when we serve the devotees of the Lord. So that is actual way to know the glorious beauty of the Lord. And just one last shloka I'll share my screen. One very beautiful shloka which come recently read was this one. Gopyastapakamacharam yatamusirupam lavanyasaramasamaurdhamananyasiddham drikvi pibanti anusava vinavam durapam ekantadhama yasasa shriyeshwaryasya. So what it says, what austerities must the gopis have performed? So this is Mathura Vasis and Mathura ladies specifically. When the Krishna and Balaram were entering the wrestling arena and they were going to fight with Chanu, Mushtik and all. So they were thinking such a tender boys are they, and they are just going to fight with the heavy wrestlers and all. So that they were thinking about the beauty of the Lord. At the same time, they were worried about the Lord. So they said, what austerities must the gopis have performed? So this shloka is very special thing. It says about the 6 aspects of the beauty of the Lord. What are they? With their eyes, they were always drinking the nectar of the Lord's form. So this is Digha Pivanti Anusava Abhinavam through. So what they are doing, they are constantly drinking the newer and newer beauties of the Lord. Drigi means eyes, Pibanti means drinking. Anusava Abhinavam means the newer and newer, constantly they are seeing the Lord. Then there is Lavanya Saram. He is the essence of the loveliness. So if we always want someone who is very loving, caring, so he is the essence of all the loveliness. Asamu Urdhvam. He is not parallel or unsurpassed by anyone. So he is the Asamu Urdhvam. No one is equal or above him in his beauty. Ananya Siddham. See, many times when we have to become, we have to look beautiful, or we have to, what we have to do generally? We have to wear new coat and tie, and when you go to especially placements and all, many of you would have gone to companies and placements and all. That time person literally used to wear so many things. That time he used to put socks also which are new, not stinking. Then new shoes he will purchase and all those things he will purchase. So that time he has to wear so many things just to look some gentleman person in his life, for that short 2-3 hours of time. But Lord doesn't need all that. What is that? Ananya Siddham means he's always perfect. He doesn't need anything to increase his beauty. He's self-perfect. And Drigvi Pibanti Anus Abhinavam means already they are drinking the constant beauty of the Lord. Durapam, and he's difficult to obtain, even though different people saw him, but only few could actually appreciate the beauty of the Lord because of their love. Ekanta Dhama, and what he is Ekanta Dhama. Ekanta Dhama means he's a single reservoir of all Yasha, fame, Shriya means beauty, and Aishwarya and the opulence. So if you want all these things at one place, then what you should do? You should worship that Lord who is all the things at one place. Hai na? He is Shreya also, he is Yasha also, he is opulence also. So like that, we can actually see these are the 6 aspects of the beauty of the Lord, which can actually enchant the heart of the devotee. And if we have developed this some appreciation for the Lord's beauty, and I will not be affected by the charismatic beauty of this illusionary potency of the Lord. And so many buildings and so many, all these are actually the extension of the Lord's beauty. But if we see the source of the beauty, then we can be always unaffected by the illusionary potency of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, bro. It was very, very much amazing to hear about the beauty of the quality, and especially how you concluded that although the Lord is supremely beautiful, but to see the beauty of the Lord, what we live, what we want, what we need to have is love. Unless we have love and devotion, although the Lord is supremely beautiful, supremely knowledgeable, supremely wealthy, and supreme in everything, but we cannot understand even the speck of the Lord's qualities unless we have devotion. Isn't it? Okay, so thank you very much. So it was became a little long session. So apologies for that, but it's very, very encouraging to see all of you with so much patience till the end. And actually, I don't think it was any kind of boring. At least for me, it was very, very enlightening. And each and every pastime, each and every story and quality of the Lord that was being shared. So it was, it is a kind of deep meditation, and we can actually go on for hours and hours describing just one single quality of the Lord. But don't worry, the best is yet to come. So as I told in the beginning, this is just a preparation for the next week's mega youth camp Utkarsha, and hopefully we'll meet all of you there at Srirangapatna starting from 12th the Saturday and will till 15th till Melkote. So actually I'm very, very eager and very, very and eagerly waiting, and I cannot I'm still counting the days when all of us will be there happily chanting and dancing with raised arms in front of Shri Ranganath in Srirangapatna. And from there we go to Melkote, take darshan of the beautiful deities Yoga Narasimha and Chalana. It is just like a tour to Vaikuntha, isn't it? We'll go to Vaikuntha and then come back again. We'll come back again so that we can bring more and more people to Vaikuntha next time. Okay, bros. So it is a very nice session, and I deeply and heartily thank to all of us speakers who took out time from the busy schedule and enlightened us and gave us so many wonderful, thought-provoking, isn't it? Descriptions about the qualities of the Lord, and we can contemplate on these qualities. And it is told that just by remembering such qualities of the Lord Krishna, we can just cross over this material ocean of birth and death, isn't it? All that is required is to remember Lord Krishna in the form of his wonderful qualities, isn't it? And today we heard about his 6 qualities, 6 opulence of the Lord. Okay, so with this we'll conclude today, and the journey continues, and it will culminate at the lotus feet of Sri Ranganath in Srirangapatna in the coming week, the coming Saturday, when all of us will be there together. Okay, so thank you very much again to all of you, and with this we'll end here today. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai. Jai.